It seems like the old school game developers are just as shocked about the new modern day game developers and their stupidity and hatred of the gamers. And I think this is something a lot of gamers have been talking about. Why do developers destroy their own momentum in marketing for a game by attacking the gamer base? And I think we saw this happening with Avowed, a new game coming out from Obsidian Entertainment, headed by this person, Matt Hanson, the game director for Avowed, who came out and attacked Elon Musk and any other gamer that hates what he's doing with his game or dislikes or has a disagreement. And he is the quintessential modern day game developer who has pronouns in their bio. They're about rainbow flags, Ukrainian flags, Palestinian flags. They're about hiring based on race and overall minority group status. And that's what we see from this art director, Matt Hanson. I think a lot of gamers took a little bit of annoyance with some of the things that he's putting into his game. And of course, everyone has their own opinion if you want pronouns in the game, and people are going to state that. But his response to the people stating that, including Elon Musk himself, a person with over 200 million followers, he comes out and he says, I want so badly to make a terrible game for Elon Musk so he can never play it and he will dislike it. And I'm like, okay, you're saying this to one of the most viewed accounts on the planet and you're trying to have that person hate your game. Is that the beginning of your marketing campaign? And that's the response that we get from Gears of War executive producer, who comes out and says, what are you doing, Matt Hanson? You're destroying the marketing for your own game by attacking Elon Musk, and more than anything, attacking gamers. Why is this happening in the gaming industry? And this is Laura Fryer. She has her own YouTube channel. She came out and was confused by the response by a lot of game developers to come out and attack the gamer base and people that are simply questioning their game. In the past, I think for a lot of these old school developers, you just try to win the gamer over. You try to say, oh, this is not developed yet, we're just doing this, testing it out. You say bits and pieces of the excuses and you grab that feedback and bring it back into your game. But that is not the modern day developer nowadays. They don't care about feedback. They're in their own closed cell of positive feedback where they don't want to hear from anyone outside of that positive feedback loop within their studio. And that's what we're seeing here with Matt Hanson and the developing group for Obsidian Entertainment. They're trapped in their own positive feedback loop, and you hear this from developers within the studio itself saying he's surrounded by people that agree with everything he's saying about the game, and they're just reinforcing that positive messaging that he wants to have in his games. And I think that is a situation that we're seeing with a lot of AAA studios nowadays, where we have this corporatization and we have this modern influence taking over the gaming industry, where you're trying to focus on these political progressive values ahead of gameplay and actually marketing your game. And we see this bear out at Obsidian Entertainment, where people are coming out saying that is the case there. We have leakers saying that. We have people leaking out Slack messages saying this is this toxic positivity that is pervasive throughout their development space, and it's pervasive through Western games development and industry in general, where you have these corporate chokeholds on the creativity of gaming, where it has to be one way, and if it's not that way and the gamers don't like it, they are the problem, not the developer themselves. The gamers are the problem, and they need to be learned, instructed, and re-educated on what games are to the masses now from their perspective. And I think that is the thing that we're seeing from a lot of Microsoft developers, essentially. I know this has happened at PlayStation too, but Microsoft is one of those captured entities that have so much of this DEI elements sewn up in every single developer that they have. It's going all the way from Microsoft to every developer, where it's spreading like a disease. And I think we see this with Obsidian's entertainment approach to attacking the fan base. And I think that's the thing that we always see with developers nowadays, where they don't care about the gamer base. They don't care about being actual leaders, protecting the people within their studio, making a long-lasting contribution to the gaming space. It's more about that ideology that they want to put out there more than anything else, and they will sacrifice the game studio and the jobs and livelihoods of everyone working there just to get that message out. And I think that is that toxic overall development process that has developed in the Western gaming industry. And I think this is the thing that is baffling to old school developers, where they're looking at this saying, why are you doing this? This is not how you sell a game. You don't sell a game by telling the most popular person on the planet that you want them to hate your game, and you hope he broadcasts that messaging to everyone. That's not how you sell a game. And I think we're seeing this play out in the open on X and Twitter, because this person, Matt Hanson, has been pushing out this messaging consistently. and there's no walking back that response. And we go on with Laura Fryer, Gears of War executive producer, who's confused by this, where they're talking about how do you do this sort of messaging, because that's not real leadership in the industry. How you're not protecting your developers by trying to market a good game that is gonna proceed to have success and lead to other games. If you're sabotaging this game over perceived moral values that you hold, then you shouldn't be in the gaming industry. And I think that's what we're seeing from old school developers. But rather than hear me, let's look at what Laura Fryer says. And she says these comments right here where she says, I personally find this situation baffling. Does he know Elon personally? Why does he want to make Elon mad with his game? Why would you say this to someone who is easily one of the most controversial people on the planet, and therefore has millions of people reading his post? The interaction may be one impression that people will ever have of the game Avowed. And she continues on saying, to be clear, I'm fine with his personal gripes with Elon, but that his choice is putting everyone in danger within the studio of losing their jobs. And I think that's the main thing people are seeing with this social media response from a person who's supposed to be a leader with the games industry. And I think that is the thing that we see all throughout the industry nowadays, where there's this negative response from game developers that they come out and attack the audience first, and they try to protect their small insular mindset within their developer studio, remaining and clinging on to this toxic positivity that is destroying a lot of games that have come out. And you can see this with a lot of modern games, especially in 2024. So much games came out that were absolute failures that attack their fan base as well. And we have future games that have come out, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, that literally called the entire country of Japan racist for not liking their game that has no Japanese lead character in it. And I think that is the absurdity of modern day game developers. They rather attack an entire country, accuse them of being racist for asking for a Japanese character be in a Japanese setting in Japanese history. And that is the absurdity of modern day game developers, where they will attack entire cultures, countries, and accuse them of being the worst things in the book rather than adjusting to that culture. And that is the forced imposition of progressive values that are the focus of modern day game developers, because they're trying to impose their culture all across the world. And I think that's what we're seeing with people like Matt and Hanson at Avowed. They're trying to impose their culture everywhere. And I think that is the animosity that we're getting back from this person when he attacks Elon Musk, when he attacks the gamers, when he's frustrated that the gamers don't like the things that he's putting in his games. He wants to attack you because this is a cultural thing to him. This is the thing that he wants to express to the world, and he doesn't want anyone else to disagree with it. And I think that's what we're seeing now in the gaming industry, and almost a religiosity towards the ideals that they have imposed into the game. And I think that's the thing that we're responding to as gamers, where we're saying we're trying to play a game, we're trying to have fun, we don't care about the things that you believe in unless it's actually fun to play. Then we'll care. We'll go, okay, we don't mind these things in the game anymore because you made a good game. And that's simply what the gamers want. And I think that's what the old school game developers are baffled by right now. They're going, why are you not trying to make a good game? Why you're not trying to market your game to everyone? Are you really a game developer? And I think that is the question we have to ask these people that are attacking the gaming industry nowadays. Are you really game developers? Because I think a lot of gamers don't think that's the case. And I think a lot of people in the industry are starting to see it for that fact that a lot of game developers now are not really game devs at all, and maybe not even gamers at that. But that's just my 2 cents on the situation. Gears of War executive producer realizing modern day gaming is not about gaming anymore. And I think that is what we're seeing now with a lot of these old school devs realizing the market has changed and the developers have changed drastically with it, and they don't really care about gaming anymore. But you can leave your comments, tell me what you think about the situation. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Wagner Knows Why. Catch you next time.